Welcome. Today we're jumping into Ezekiel, chapter 15.
Right. And it kicks off with this really interesting question posed by the divine voice in the text.
Yeah, it asks basically, how is the wood from a vine any different from, say, a branch on a regular forest tree?
Uh-huh. And it sounds simple. Maybe you'd think about grapes first.
Sure, the fruit.
But no, the text is laser focused just on the wood. What's the wood itself like?
And the answer it gives is maybe surprising. It says, well, vine wood isn't like forest wood.
Not in terms of usefulness,
You
anyway.
can't really build things with it. The text even says you can't make a peg from it, to hang things on.
Right. It lacks that kind of structural quality you get from other trees. It's just different.
Different in a way the text frames as, well, less useful. Fundamentally less useful for crafting things.
Precisely. It's described as pretty much useless for those practical applications.
And then the text pushes it.
Mhm.
What happens when you take this vine wood and throw it in the fire?
Well, obviously it burns. It becomes fuel.
Right, the text paints that picture maybe burnt at both ends, charred in the middle.
And here's the crucial point it makes. If that wood wasn't useful for making things before the fire, when it was just fuel,
How could it possibly be useful after it's been burned and charred?
yeah, it doesn't get transformed into something better by the fire. It's just consumed, destroyed.
It's a really stark comparison. And the text doesn't just leave it there as a nature observation.
No, not at all. It applies this metaphor very, very directly.
The divine voice says it quite plainly, something like, just like I've given vine wood to the fire as fuel.
That's how I'm going to treat the people living in Jerusalem.
Wow. So the people are explicitly compared to this useless wood that's just destined for the fire.
It's a harsh image, and the consequences laid out are just as severe.
The text says the divine presence, God's face, will be set against them.
And there's this line that really stands out.
Which one?
Although they have come out of the fire will yet consume them.
So even surviving trouble before doesn't mean they're safe now.
Apparently not if they're like this vine wood. Past survival doesn't guarantee future safety here.
Okay, and the text connects this judgment to a specific purpose.
Yes. So you will know that I am the Lord. It's about demonstrating divine authority.
And the land itself.
The land will be made desolate. That's another outcome mentioned.
And the reason. Why this fate? Why are they like useless wood fit for burning?
The text gives one reason. Unfaithfulness. They have been unfaithful.
So if you put it all together, this chapter seems to be saying that usefulness or value in this context is tied to faithfulness.
Right. And unfaithfulness makes one, like this wood, fit only for burning, even if they're in Jerusalem, even if they've survived past difficulties.
It's a really powerful statement within the text about purpose, faithfulness, and, well, consequence.
Absolutely.
So thinking about this ancient text, what does this metaphor really say to you about how usefulness and purpose are perceived here and the consequences linked to unfaithfulness?
Yeah, what part of that comparison, the vine wood and the people, what part hits you the most?
And maybe a final thought to consider, based on what we've just read here. According to this chapter, just surviving, just getting through hard times.
Doesn't automatically mean you're okay for the future if you're considered unfaithful.
Right. So what does that perspective laid out right here in Ezekiel 15 make you think about the connection between your state, like faithfulness, and what happens next, your consequences or destiny?
Something to definitely reflect on from this passage.